Okay, with pleasure now. It's my next special guest. Is a VIP actually. We got him on the studio line now. We have Conor Maynard, the one and only. Thanks for joining me today, Conor.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me. Thank
It's
you.
great. It's exciting times for you because you've got a new single just been dropped, and I'm just going to
Yes.
kind of just tell my listener about your background. You grew up in Brighton. How was that?
Yeah.
How was that like growing up in such a cosmopolitan city? Has it made you have more of an open mind then, as opposed to living in the countryside?
I would say so. I think it definitely made me grow up very open-minded. I feel like I probably didn't realize it at the time.
Mm.
I feel like for me, I just thought it was normal, I guess, to be very accepting of all types of people. And I think that that probably was a good thing. And I think yeah, I feel like it was definitely a cool place for me to have grown up in, and it shaped who I am a lot. So yeah.
Excellent. And you started off being a bit of a YouTube sensation. This was back in the golden era of YouTube. How is YouTube now compared to those 10 years ago?
I mean, YouTube now is completely different. I feel like back then, like to say that, oh yeah, I have a career on YouTube, or that I'm planning to start a career on YouTube. People have been like, what? What do you mean? And I feel like now it's much more widely accepted, but also because of that, I feel like everyone knows that now, and it's become very oversaturated. And I feel like it's a lot harder to stand out and make it. So I feel like I'm kind of happy I did it back then, because to start now, I feel like it would be really tricky. And I kind of feel for the people that are starting out now, definitely.
Of course. And you still got your YouTube channel, which is in the millions as well. You still kept that open.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's still building. I think we're sitting at 12 and a bit million subscribers now, which is wild. So yeah, it's definitely gonna keep pushing on that. So
That's
yeah.
that's that's mega. And just kind of trying to paint the picture for the listeners who haven't necessarily heard your music before, but you were discovered by Neo as well back in the day.
Yeah, he was kind of a huge part. He played a huge part in kind of my kind of rise to what I do now. I think yeah, basically I covered one of his songs when I think I was like 16, 17, and he came across it, and I guess really liked it, and got his team to reach out to me, which is quite funny because it means that he was definitely searching for himself at the time. Otherwise, he would never have found it. But yeah, he saw basically one of my covers of his song, and yeah, he was super supportive ever since the beginning. So that was really cool of him, and I have to obviously thank him a lot. So yeah.
And obviously, your catalog includes top 10 hits, like including Animal and Vegas Girl. Was Vegas
Yeah.
Girl written about Las Vegas, the Sin City in particular?
Well, no, because I remember when I released that song, I had one, never been there before, and two, I wasn't even old enough to go there if I wanted to. In terms of, I wouldn't have been able to go out or gamble or party or anything. I think I was only 19 when I released the song. So I remember that was kind of the joke at the time, that everyone was like, "Yeah, but you wouldn't even be able to go into a club." I was like, "Yeah, but I can, I can imagine what it's, what it's like." I'd be like, "No, yeah, but I'm talking about like meeting a girl in Vegas, at the park, like at the local park type thing." So yeah, I remember. No, I hadn't actually been there, but I've been there since, and I can say it is an absolute. It's a ride. It's not for the faint of heart. So yeah.
Good, good. And when you look back at your early career, does it seem like yesterday, those 10 years?
um, Not for me. No, I feel like it feels like a lifetime ago. I feel like when it started, I feel like I don't even remember what I was like back then, or like what I was thinking, or like what I was, like how I kind of I don't know, respond, like how I'd respond to different situations. I feel like would be so different back then to now, and it is kind of interesting to think, like, well, I wonder what I was thinking back then, because I really don't remember. It feels like such like a blur. So, but I feel like I must have handled it well. So yeah.
Cool. And after your chart success, was there a period where you kind of just took a back seat, just have a bit of time to yourself?
Yeah, I think in the last. Oh, do you mean in the last year and a half, or do you mean like the last 10 years?
I guess like within the last 5 years,
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I feel like it's never really stopped. It's definitely never stopped, but I feel like I definitely had periods where it wasn't so much kind of in the public eye, and it was kind of more dealing with things behind the scenes. Because I don't know if you are aware, I recently became independent artist, so I'm now releasing music as an independent artist, and that took years of kind of legal back and forth to get myself to that point. And once I finally got there, it felt extremely liberating, and I'm very happy for it. But it was very, very stressful getting there. So I feel like never really had time off, but definitely time off of like promoting and putting out music. So yeah.
So you've always been kind of you've been there in some shape or form or the other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And we're here today to talk about your exciting new single, Ain't Got No Friends. Is it actually
Yeah.
based on factual events, is it?
Yeah, I have no friends. No, I'm joking. No, it's I feel like the title of the song is more depressing than this song actually is. To be fair, the song is actually quite uplifting and quite it's definitely more lighthearted than the title suggests. But I think it's kind of, the general concept is more it's kind of a love song. It's essentially saying like, oh, if I had no friends, if I had no job, if I had this, then as long as I've got you, then I'm all good. That's kind of the concept behind the song. So yeah.
And in kind of in response to Ain't Got No Friends song title, I've described it as a short but sweet, finger-clicking track, perfect to sing along to when you're on a road trip.
Yeah, 100%. I think that was kind of the idea behind it. Definitely the sing-along part. The chorus, I think, is like super, super catchy. So definitely want people to be singing along to it, 100%.
And being in the entertainment industry, where you when you're touring, you're going from hotels to hotels, can it be a lonely experience sometimes?
Yeah, it can be. I think that, when you're traveling for music, I think when you're a solo artist, you can have moments of where it's like, okay, this is a little bit lonely. Obviously, I travel with management and back in the day, and I travel with like kind of my team, and I was always very close to them. I kind of viewed them kind of as friends as well as, I guess people that were working with me. So I never felt too lonely, but I feel like now, if I had to do it now, I genuinely feel like I just want a bunch of my mates to come with me because, I don't know, I feel like I just enjoy it way more, and I feel like, it would be really cool to try. The only problem is all my mates have jobs, so I have to just find. Maybe I'll just have to like put them on my payroll or something. Like give them a job, like something really random, like you carry my shoes. Like I don't know.
And also an add-on to that question, being in the public eye, can it also take its toll on relationships with loved ones, family, friends, and even girlfriends, partners?
100%. I think that it's definitely not the easiest. A lot of people might think, oh, you got it so easy, and it's like it's not. It's quite a difficult industry to be within. There's a lot of stress that comes with it, and a lot of things that you have to deal with that people wouldn't even think of, and it definitely is testing on like your relationships with, as you said, with your family, or whether it's with a girlfriend or your mates, like whatever. I think it can be really tricky, and you kind of need people that are strong around you to almost not only to like can need to be strong for themselves because it can be difficult, but also to keep you kind of strong as well. And I think that I've got a good infrastructure of people around me that are just super cool and love me for me. So yeah.
That's a good quality to have.
Yeah.
We got a question from one of our listeners, and it's quite light-hearted. Was there an element of truth that your grandmother said to you, if all else fails or dries up, you can make soundtracks for adult films?
Yeah. So basically, the lights in the apartment that I live in. So my old apartment I lived in, which was like just over a year ago, I had these like lights. So basically, we had them all blue, and me and my friends, we as a joke, we called the place the Blue Palace. And when I moved, we kind of like said R.I.P. to the Blue Palace, and then we basically made all the lights pink in the new apartment. So basically, we call this place the Pink Chapel because I'm literally like adjacent to a church. There's like a church right next to where I live, so it's called the Pink Chapel. And I think I sent a video to my parents being like, oh, like, what do you think of the new lighting scheme? And I think my nan was like, oh, yeah, like, I mean, it's like you're shooting adult films in there. And I was she's like, well, if all else fails, you could just, you'd end up like just doing that. And I was like, yeah, no, I don't think that's the plan. I think it was just cool for lighting.
And here's one more from one of our listeners. Where's the most unusual places you have been recognised in?
Unusual places. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's always a little bit uncomfortable when you get recognised in the toilet. I that's always a little bit like, oh, just maybe like, please close the door. No, I'm joking. No one's ever come in a cubicle, but like, you know, it can be a little bit awkward in there. I'm trying to think of unusual places. I remember like one time, I think I was in a petrol station in the middle of nowhere in America somewhere, and it was so random. And I had barely released any music at that point, especially in the States. And some like guy in one of the, like, obviously they call it gas station. The guy in the gas station, he just like recognized me and asked for a picture. And we were all like so like bemused, like, well, how the hell does this guy know I am? Like, it's like, obviously we're in the middle of nowhere. How's it reached here? But somehow it had. And he asked for a picture. Turned out he actually thought I was Conor McGregor, but no, I'm joking, he didn't. But yeah, it was super, super random that he recognized me. And remember, like, I still remember that to this day. I think that's the first time I ever got recognized in America, which was pretty cool. So yeah.
And now lockdown's easing off, concerts can go ahead. You got any tours planned, appearances coming up?
Tour-wise, I'm aiming for autumn of next year, so autumn 2022, because it's going to be a world tour, so it'll take a lot of planning. I was meant to go on tour in summer of 2020, but that obviously, unfortunately, had to be postponed because of the world. So yeah, so I'm hoping that this one happens, and I'm really, really excited to, you know, get back out there again and see everyone. So yeah.
Well, from everyone here at the stations and the Dennison syndicated show, just want to say best of luck with your new track as well, Ain't Got No Friends. Would you like to introduce it on? We're going to get this played right now.
Yes, definitely. What is up, everyone? I'm Conor Maynard, and this is my brand new single, Ain't Got No Friends.
Thanks again for your time. It's been an absolute delight to have you on board.
All good. Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Brilliant.